I'd like to welcome you to our show today. On this episode, we will feature information, events, and programs that everyone in San Antonio can benefit from. We have some great information about the 311 call center, all of the services that the Department of Human Services offer, like volunteer income tax programs, some tips and tricks from SAWS to keep your water usage low, and information on CPS energy. My first guest is Senior Manager at the 311 call center, Paula Stalkup. Welcome, Paula.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, not at all. I remember when I first got on council, we were talking about putting the 311 center together and, what we thought it would do. And everybody kind of felt that it was going to be a good thing. And then we put it into your hands. So tell me a little bit about what are you guys doing? How's it working? That kind of stuff.
Well, it has been since April of 2000 that we opened up the call center, and we are actually one of the oldest in the country, and it has been fantastic. We really see ourselves as the opportunity for citizens to engage with the city. We like to call ourselves, we're the first point of contact. So if you have a city question or a concern, or you need to understand a process, give us a call and look us up online so that we can help you get through whatever questions or concerns or information you need.
Fantastic. What are some of the most common calls that you get?
We take the calls for animal care services, for code enforcement, for our Parks and Recreation Department, our Solid Waste Department, and of course, our Transportation and Capital Improvements Department. And in those, you're going to see the aggressive animals, the overgrown yards, the missed garbage, the damaged cart. Now with the rollout of the organics and the green container, we're definitely fielding those calls. And for our transportation, obviously, potholes, street repairs, all of the things that are really important for the community who want to better their own respective community. So all of those things, and we're so grateful for those individuals that call us and let us know what's going on so that we can go in and address it. Believe it or not, we do have a lot of folks who still don't know about 311, and so thank you so much for having me on the show as an opportunity to tell more people about 311 and the different ways that you can contact us. So we appreciate the efforts from your office.
No, not at all. And I know that I get a lot of weekly updates on the number of calls that are coming out of not only the city, but specifically the district. And one of the things that we study off of those reports is the type of calls. I remember last month we were getting a little bit more calls on branch pickup. And of course, we were going through the district doing that kind of stuff. So it is seasonal. Yep. We do get the calls based on what's happening out in the community, but every once in a while we'll get that weird off-brand call. And what I keep telling people is we want to hear that as well, although I get the stats from your office, because then we turn around and do budgetary discussion around it. Exactly. If we're getting a lot of calls in this area, is there a policy perhaps that we can adjust? Exactly. Is there budgetary adjustments that we need to make? And of course, we're getting ready to go into that. And I know your department will be coming to council saying, look, this is our budget for next year. This is how and what we want to get done. And that's, I think, that's certainly why I tell my folks, it's important to report it, because if you want me to make a case for more money for this department or for these services, I've got to have stats. I've got to have data.
That's why we do those reports. We want to let you know what's happening in your district, and we're looking at all. We have over 250 service request types, where people can call us, and those are 250 different services that the city provides that we track and we look at and really help to determine where, like you said, where there's need.
So let's track a call, kind of any generic call that comes in to your office, first call. What kind of happens? What can people expect as far as callbacks and that kind of stuff?
Great. Let's say a pothole comes in and we are taking all the information down. We want to know were you traveling northbound, southbound? Were you traveling, is it at the corner of an intersection? Is it in the middle of an intersection? Obviously, every single service request that we submit actually has to have an intersection. So we need to know, where is it? What is the issue, right? And then we take that information, and that information goes back to the departments. In this case, potholes are taken care of by our Transportation and Capital Improvements Department, and they'll go in and they'll address those. The great thing about it is we can tell you when that pothole or whatever particular issue is scheduled to be addressed, because every single service request that we submit has a timeline in which the city is scheduled to complete. So again, another piece of information so that you don't need to call us back. We're telling you potholes 2 working days when it's scheduled to be completed. You drive by there, 3 days later, and voila, it's completed, right? So those are all different pieces of information that we provide the resident at that initial call so that they know what the expectation is, because that's really important too, is what is the expectation when you're calling us at the city and we're giving you that information and we're submitting it back to the department. The department goes, fixes the pothole, that information is communicated back into our system, so that in the event that you do need to call us, we can tell you, yes, it was completed by this person on this date at this time. And we've got that information at our fingertips.
Yeah, and one of the things we tell our folks is get a ticket number.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You should always be offered a service request number, and you can follow up on that service request number.
That's
So
always been
definitely.
Have you done it? If you did, what's the ticket number? Because oftentimes they'll say, yeah, we did it, and then they don't have a ticket number.
Right.
Yeah, maybe you did.
Now you got to go do a little bit of research.
But that's okay. We'll create that. And the reason for that is we want to be able to track. We want to be able to take action on correct data, because at the end of the day, what you do every single day is what the public expects from its municipal government. So thank you for what you've done.
Thank you.
And encourage you to keep on doing that. And look forward to continuing to support you in those efforts.
Very good.
And we'll be right back after this short break to talk about the Department of Human Services and what programs they offer to the community.
Is there an overgrown vacant lot in your neighborhood? Have you spotted unsightly graffiti? Have you found a pothole that needs repair? Now, requesting City of San Antonio services can be done from anywhere and right from the palm of your hand. The City of San Antonio is proud to offer residents a new way to personally connect with your government for city services in addition to calling 311. The new San Antonio 311 mobile app is now available for download at www.sanantonio.gov, the Android market, and the iTunes Store by searching keyword San Antonio 311. Once downloaded, iPhone and Android users can submit service requests to address issues such as overgrown yards or vacant lots, junk vehicles, pothole repairs, graffiti, and others. For more information, visit www.sanantonio.gov or call the city's call center at 311 or 210-207-6000. SA 311. City services at your fingertips.
Welcome back to our show. I'm your host, City Councilman Ray Lopez. My next guest is Public Relations Manager for the Department of Human Services, Roland Martinez. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Councilman. Pleasure to be here.
So tell us a little bit about the department, and we'll get into some particulars on what people may want to know.
Yes, sir. Well, the Department of Human Services is a very comprehensive program, department in the city. It covers everything from early childhood, Head Start, has financial and emergency assistance, homeless services, senior centers, and everything else that relates to the basic needs of our citizens.
But typically when we get a call in my office for human services types of calls for help, it's a very emotional, very difficult time for them. Oftentimes they're in a very desperate way. So tell me a little bit more about the Family Assistance Division and how and what type of person would typically use that department for services.
Sure. And yes, that is true. It is our citizens who are most times in desperate need. One of those key situations is, say, utility assistance. Mm-hmm. Those individuals who are on the verge of being disconnected or have already been disconnected with their services. In the last few months, our department simplified the application process by putting on our website a bilingual application that our citizens can download, fill it out, and they can either fax it back to our department or drop it off at the Willie Velasquez Center. It's a pretty easy application to fill out, and our citizens are helped as funding is available, and it's based on income requirements. And we tend to focus on those citizens who may have, say, are senior citizens, if they have children in the home, if they have certain disabilities, or they're in need of daily use of medical equipment.
Well, I know that in my district, certainly in District 6, we've gone out and actually knocked on doors to let people know about the program. But, I mean, we can knock on doors every single day and not be able to touch all the need that's out there. How do you go about the outreach of making sure people understand? Oftentimes, as we said before, they're in a very emotional, desperate time, and maybe don't understand exactly how to go get the help. So what do you guys do to get the word out?
Well, oftentimes a lot of our referrals are from the city council offices, citizens who reach directly to their city council member, and then those offices contact our department to contact certain citizens who may be needing assistance. And also by word of mouth, citizens who've been serviced by our department in this utility assistance program, contacting other, say, family members who may be in the same situation, saying, call the city, they have this utility assistance program, take advantage of that.
Good. Well, I know that getting the word out in the just-in-time manner, because oftentimes when people hear about it and they're not in a desperate mode, they're not in an emotional state, maybe don't really pay attention or listen to it. It's not until the need comes, and that's when you really have to have it out there for them. And thank you very much for the kind of work that you do. I know that a lot of these things, as we're talking about, I mean, they're kind of seasonal. They're kind of, they don't always happen to people, right? They're not always in a disastrous situation, and we certainly hope they're not. But I know around this time of year, the biggest disastrous situation anybody can be in is preparing taxes.
That's true.
Getting their taxes done, right?
That's true.
Dealing with it and saying, hey, I'll gladly pay my fair share, but with the underscore on fair. I don't want to overpay, and I want to get back anything that I possibly can get back. I know we have the Volunteer Income Tax Program. Tell me a little bit about that, and how do people get involved and take advantage of it, and what have you seen as any of the impacts that we think that program is bringing to our community?
Well, this program, which goes by the acronym VITA, is a free service. It's a partnership between the city, the United Way of San Antonio and Bexar County, the Archdiocese of San Antonio Catholic Charities, and the VITA Coalition of San Antonio. This is a free service for individuals and families who last year earned up to $60,000 or less. Last year, with specially trained volunteers, well, actually several hundred volunteers, they prepared more than 44,000 tax returns, free tax returns, for these qualified taxpayers. And those 44,000 tax returns translate into more than $60 million in refunds to our taxpayers, and a savings of more than $8 million in tax preparation fees.
It's actually accelerated, which means it's in the pockets of the families, which means they get to go buy groceries, pay their bills.
That's right.
And so it direct positive impact to the economy.
Exactly. And we always hear about the city where we try to bring in certain events because it's a certain economic generator. Well, this here you have more than $60 million in refunds to our taxpayers. Taxpayers, they're going to use their money here in our local economy.
Well, great. Listen, thank you very much. I wish we had more time to talk about so many other services that you guys provide for our community. And I wish I could say I'll have you back on a later show. But as you know, my 8-year term is about to end this coming May. But I know that I leave it in great hands with folks like you and other department heads that are taking care of our citizens as well as theirs. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you, Councilman. Appreciate the opportunity.
Not at all. And we'll be right back after this short break.
Hey San Antonio rideshare drivers, there are even more perks to taking advantage of the police department's free background check verification.
Yay! After I've completed the voluntary 10-print process, I'll receive a $25 gas card when I pick up my ID badge.
That means you get extra gas money and your riders get peace of mind knowing you've completed a background check by the San Antonio Police Department. Rideshare drivers who complete the background process have this seal on their profiles.
Drivers can start the process today by downloading an application from the City of San Antonio's website. The police department will facilitate fingerprinting and run your prints through an FBI database. Drivers who successfully complete the check can pick up the identification card and $25 gas card from our ground transportation unit.
Get verified, get rewarded. It's that easy.
Well, let's keep the show rolling. My next guest is the Conservation Director for the San Antonio Water System, Karen Guz. Welcome, Karen.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, no, not at all. As a matter of fact, we've had a handful of other individuals that are coming in talking about things that are critical to our community, whether it's 311, picking up dead animals, stray animals, and all that kind of stuff. We also had folks from our Human Services Department talking about, hey, if you need some help with your taxes and things of that nature. And we talked about how seasonal sometimes those things are.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to get to talk to us about something that isn't necessarily seasonal, although there are seasonal components, because water is incredibly important to our community, and it's year-round. It's lifelong and those kinds of things. So I think one of the first things that people want to know is, what do you guys do to help the public keep their usage down?
Well, it's a great job my department has, because we're helping you save money. Whatever kind of customer you are for San Antonio Water System, whether you're a residential customer, you live in a home, you have a business, we're there to try to keep that water bill low for you. And that benefits the whole community because it stretches our water supplies into the future. So we have a lot of different programs. We have education programs to help talk to you about how's your water use going in the winter months. Those winter months are going to come to an end, but that's a good time to watch your indoor usage and make sure that you don't have anything inside the house that's leaking. People are surprised to know, I've got a little factoid for you that's shocking, about 12% of the average household water use goes to preventable water leaks.
Wow.
That's a shocking number, isn't it? That doesn't mean everybody's losing 12%. What it really means is that we've got a lot of little leaks in houses and then a couple of houses that have big leaks that they don't know about. So any time is a good time to keep an eye on everything that uses water in your house and listen. Do you hear water running? At a time you shouldn't hear it. Toilets are a big culprit.
I was going to say, like toilets
Like
running
toilets
or
running.
faucets dripping.
So
yeah.
sometimes I've had people say, oh, I thought that was normal.
Yeah.
That the toilet just flushes itself periodically. No, not so much.
No.
So if you hear sounds of running water, or you have a mysterious, very green spot in your yard, these are things to be concerned about and to pay attention to make sure that you don't have a leak that's going to generate maybe a surprise big bill. And if you're not sure and you're thinking, I don't know if it's, I don't know what's going on, give us a call. The number to get through to conservation is 704-SAVE, S-A-V-E. And tell them you've got a question, you're not sure, and we'll kind of talk you through trying to figure out if that toilet is leaking or not.
Good, good. I think the people will start using that more than they already have. I know it's been a successful program, but getting more information, more outreach is always good, particularly when it comes to something like as precious to our community as it is in all communities, water and water conservation. Now, we talked about the toilets, and I think that's the obvious one that everything. But I think one that maybe folks don't always think that is as obvious is their sinks, as they're turning on their water and washing their dishes and turn around to go do something else and let that water run, that kind of stuff. I know that has been a big focus on making sure that people are just conscious about that, and that's okay. We got to
use the water how you need it. But things like if you don't have one of those aerators on your faucets that makes the flow nice, maybe it got limed up and you took it off. Wow, you just increased your flow about 3-4 times if you took that off. We'll give you one free.
Yeah.
If you stop by our service centers. Shower heads, if you have a really old one, we have shower heads still at our service centers as well. So things like that to pay attention to. If you use water outside, if you have an automatic irrigation system, those are the biggest water user in the house if you happen to have one. We have a free service that we encourage people to use, which is an irrigation consultation. We'll send a licensed irrigator who's also a plant expert out to your house to spend an hour, look at that system, walk through all of it, tell you exactly how much yours uses. And then the best part is that once you have that consult service, we will leave you with a custom rebate offer to help you improve it.
Very cool.
So how can that be better?
And it couldn't be better,
Couldn't
right?
be better.
And incredibly timely with the springtime coming. People are looking, everybody's out there working on their garden or planting or perhaps doing a little vegetable garden, which I know my wife just loves to go out there and start working on. Always competes with our neighbor on how many good tomatoes they're going to be able to yield, and it's always more than we need. So we can actually go out and help with conservation programs and things of that nature. I think that's, again, one of those services that most people don't realize that SAWS provides. I think it's also one of those things that I think people recognize that SAWS is has to provide a service, has to charge for it. But they also don't realize that what you're trying to do is to keep that cost down,
right? It's
not raise it like
it's an interesting business model. We're trying to help you use less of our product.
Use less of our product. Yeah.
So there's another thing coming up that people might want to know about, and that is we are building up programs leading to something we call our coupons that will come out about May 1st. The coupons are aimed at your landscape. to help you refresh your landscape, have less grass, beautiful plants that don't need to be watered. And we will have tours of sample gardens that you can go visit, and get a look at, and get ideas. You can get your consult done leading up to May 1st. We recommend you sign up for our Garden Style SA free e-newsletter that'll give you information and tips and ideas, so that by the time May 1st comes along and you can get this $100 coupon to go buy your plants, you're all ready to go and you have your plan, and you can take that $100 coupon and go get your plant material.
Well, we're running out of time, but real quickly, how do they get a hold of you?
They call 704-SAVE. You can also go to gardenstylesa.com.
Well, with that tip, we'll move on to the next segment. And first of all, thank you very much for providing that great information, incredibly timely. We're looking forward to our citizens taking advantage of it. And we'll be right back after this short break. Hello, this is Ray Lopez, your District 6 Councilman. Extensive public input contributed to the development of the proposed 2017-2022 bond program. More than 1,400 residents attended 25 public meetings, with 350 public comments heard during these meetings. The Citizens Committees approved 173 projects and presented their recommendations for City Council's consideration. City Council added 7 projects and approved 180 projects to be included in the May 6, 2017 bond election. If you'd like more information on these projects in District 6, please call my office at 210-207-3749 or email us at district6@sanantonio.gov. Welcome back. Our next guest is spokesperson and communications analyst for CPS Energy, Albert Cantu. Welcome to the show, Albert.
Thank you for having me.
No, not at all. I mean, CPS, all of the other segments that we've done right before this one have been incredibly important to our community. CPS is no different. We just did SAWS, and everybody got to love SAWS. Yeah, well, they love them until they get their bill, and then we told them how to save money on their bill and all those kinds of things. We talked about 311. Everybody's, they're calling me with complaints, but you know what? They do a very good job and able to be able to address those. And that all goes to quality of life issues for our community, and we have a pretty good community here. Yeah. And you guys are an important part of that.
And we appreciate that. It's no different for us as well. Our customers and the quality of the life they have is important to us as well. That's why we offer some of the programs that we do.
Great. Well, I know that most of our folks only think about CPS when they hit the switch and it doesn't turn on, or when they get their bill. But there are so many other times when they can engage with CPS to try to get some guidance, and certainly that's one program that you just talked about.
Yes,
that can be a very positive financial impact to our listeners and to our citizens.
For sure.
What are some of the other things that are going on that can help our community do a better job of conserving and then using and enjoying the energy that we do have?
Yeah, for sure. I think one of the things, again, is really looking at CPS Energy as a resource. Anytime they're thinking about making any kind of changes inside their home or even in their businesses, because we have rebates not only for just residential, but also for for commercial customers as well. But really,
and renters.
Renters as well. And speaking of renters, we have a new program called the multifamily program and energy efficiency program. What that is homeowners, or not homeowners, but apartment owners rather, that own multi-complexes, whether it's 5 units or more, qualify for this program now. And what they do is a representative from CPS Energy will come out to that apartment complex if they sign up for this program, and they'll actually go through each and every single apartment complex, and they'll do what you'll find in this energy assessment kits, which is they'll come in, they're going to change out all of your light bulbs, all of your incandescent light bulbs to LED light bulbs. If you have a electric water heater, you're going to get aerators. You talked to Karen Guz here a while ago, San Antonio Water System, about the aerators for water, how to save on that. We have shower heads that we'll give to those customers as well, and also pipe wrapping for their water heater, keep their water heater nice and hot when they're using it, right? So this is something that's new. We didn't have this before. You had to be a homeowner to take advantage of some of our programs, but this is something that's, again, I think is great. We worked alongside San Antonio Housing Authority recently, and we were able to go onto all their properties and do the same thing. Those people are, a lot of them are on fixed income, and to be able to go into a housing authority like that and be able to change all their fixtures and save them energy and money, it's a great thing for our community.
Well, honestly, it almost sounds too good to be true. So, I mean, the first thing people want to say, well, man, what's the catch? I mean, is there a catch?
There is no catch. You know, what we're doing here is we're helping not only our customers save energy money, but it's also beneficial for CPS Energy. You know, we put into place an aggressive goal of saving 771 megawatts of power by 2020. We're hovering right around 500 megawatts saved already so far. So these programs are really in place to keep us from having to build another power plant, which is very expensive. And it's also helping to stabilize our grid. You know, ERCOT, which is the Electric Reliability Council of Texas, they oversee the entire state grid for us. If in the summer, when everybody's cranking up their air conditioning systems, it puts a lot of weight on that grid. And if we start to dip into what we call our reserves, well, then we can run programs like this where we have people take advantage of these programs. We have people taking advantage of our demand response programs where we can actually turn up and down their thermostat settings. That's going to really help stabilize the grid. So they're helping CPS Energy in the long run as well, but it's really helping to save on that 771 megawatts of power.
Well, that's critically important because I know when we were talking about, you know, the capacity for CPS to produce and the amount of demand that there was, the big issue that became, there's no way that we can move forward as a, if you will, a civilized environment without figuring out a way to be conservative,
Sure.
To diversify our portfolio, have sustainable energy production, and then conserve. All of those all work together. And
For sure,
we're
no doubt.
fortunate here in San Antonio, certainly Texas and the U.S. in general, as it relates to other countries in the world. I've had the opportunity of traveling to some of those other countries when energy, not only is it incredibly expensive, but it's hard to get. You can't consistently get it. And while some folks that are at the consumer or residential level may see that as a big inconvenience, it's very detrimental to economic development in those countries because they can't keep their factories working, they can't keep manufacturing going, and all that has a direct impact on jobs and production and all those negative things. So I think oftentimes we take advantage or take for granted that we have such a great operating utility company like CPS. I want to tell you thank you.
Oh, thank you so much.
And before we leave, I'm leaving my note cards here for just a second. I want to give you to you and CPS a personal thanks from many in my district and many others outside the district that we had an opportunity to engage with over the course of the last couple of weeks when we had the storms. And of course, the first thing that comes up is I need my power back for all of these reasons, right? My refrigerator is out. And there was an awful lot of very personal, tragic things that were happening because of that. Clearing tree branches and the like. So,
you know,
great thanks for that.
Thank you.
Believe me, we appreciate you.
And we appreciate that too. You know, and I have to say on behalf of CPS, and we were very proud of our guys that went out there to get that power back on. We had 84,000 people that were without power, but we were able to get them on in 48 hours, which is tremendous considering the situation we were in.
No question. So I wanted to end on that. But before I go, so what is this again?
This is the home energy assessment. I'm glad you're bringing this back up because I want people to see this here. This is, again, part of the Save Now program here. And I'm going to
talk about it. We're going to do this.
Well, I'm going to open it because I want people to see it.
Better.
This is a free kit that our customers can order. Anybody that has, let's say, an electric water heater, like I mentioned earlier, if you want a kit, you can order this kit right on at cpsenergy.com/savenow. Go to the website. You'll get 5 LED light bulbs. You're going to get some water aerators, a shower head, some pipe wrapping. If you have a gas water heater, then you're going to get the 5 bulbs. But let's say you don't want just this, you want more than that. Well, then you can have a representative actually come out to your home. They will walk through the house. They'll do a whole house survey. They'll change out all the light bulbs. They'll put the aerators in for you. You don't have to do any of that. And it's all absolutely free.
So no more honeydews for me, huh? Okay, good.
No honeydews for you. This will be absolutely free. So we want our customers, please go to our website at cpsenergy.com/rebates or /savenow. You'll get to this to these programs here. Look at everything we've got because there's so much that we offer that can help you put dollars back into your pocket and really help save energy.
Great. Well, thank you very much for what you're doing, the information you provided today. And I know that the folks out there watching will take advantage of it. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thank you for tuning in. I'd like to once again thank my guests for taking the time to provide us with such great information. I look forward to our upcoming show. And until next time, I'm your City Councilman, Ray Lopez. And thank you, San Antonio.